Every addiction starts from something small. And then you rehabilitate 10 people, 50 people are going in. 50 people come out, 100 people out. The number is increasing. You have not sat down to say that this is not the solution.
He said he's been to a lot of seminars like this with respect to issues of drugs, and then what action plan are there for people to follow. Well, I think if you listen to the lecture, there are practical solutions to it, right? And then, like, if you understand what is leading to a problem, then you can equally use the same method to solve the problem, right? We talked about peer pressure. So there is not anything you put in place to solve the problem of people influencing other people than what the Prophet ﷺ did to Ibn Abbas. The hadith we referenced in Sahih Jami in the Jami of Abu Isa at-Tirmidhi. Train your children, teach them who Allah is. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them. Take them to the guidance of righteous people. The Prophet ﷺ used that methodology and it helped. So that is it. If you are waiting for someone outside to come and solve your problem, you won't be able to solve it. So you have to watch your child until it becomes a problem before you can start applying these practical things. These are practical solutions. Become friends with your child so that you know what the problem is. Know what your child is doing on social media. And then all of these things, it's about relationships, sitting people down. Because you cannot follow people 100% all the time you are with them. But the only thing you can give to your child is knowledge and make him understand the essence of life. And that was what the Prophet ﷺ did to Ibn Abbas. And then secondly, the issue of curbing the menace. The type of solution a lot of people they want us to be talking about is when we have rehabilitation centers. But is that a solution? What do we say in Islam? Al-wiqayatu khayrun min al-ilaj. Prevention is better than cure. When you have rehabilitation center, there is already a problem in your society. Alaysa kadhalik. And then because we are not solving the problem the way we are supposed to solve, 50 people come out from rehabilitation, 100 people are waiting to enter. Have you solved the problem? But today, if we have a rehabilitation center today, someone will say, Pen Abdullah has done something great. He has put up a rehabilitation center. Yes, that is part of curbing the problem. But a lot of people think that is the only solution, or that is the solution. But it is not the solution. Simply because once you take 50 people out of the rehabilitation center, you have 100 people waiting in line to enter. And it's a vicious cycle. Have you solved the problem? So what is the problem? The problem is what we have discussed, and the solution is what we have told you. The solution can never be better than the solution of Quran and Sunnah. The same thing, you have been killing bandits, you have been armed robbers, are they reducing in number? It's like you building a rehabilitation center. When you kill them, a lot of people are waiting. Boko Haram, how many years now? As you are killing, some people were just 2 years old when in 2009. Today they are part of Boko Haram. What happened? Why did they join? It's because we are not solving the problem the way we should solve the problem. You can't solve a manifestation of problem without solving the root cause of it. If you visit a doctor and you are having headache, what will the doctor tell you? He knows headache is a symptom. Right? Headache is not a rational life on its own, it's a symptom of something. So when you go to a doctor, he gives you Panadol first to address the headache. It's a painkiller, they call it, right? But does he leave you like that and say, go home and take Panadol? It sends you to the lab. But the first thing is to address the headache. Then it sends you to the lab. And once the lab result, the test result is out, he now gives you proper diagnosis and tells you that you have malaria, you have typhoid, you have this and that. But today you keep taking Panadol until your body becomes resistant to it. And that is what is happening. You keep killing and you are not solving the problem. Why are we having them? That is the question. Why do we have bandits? Why do we have Boko Haram?
That's the question you should ask. And when you are able to answer that question, you'll be able to solve the problem from grassroots. Reverse. Why do you keep keeping people, you are giving people money on the street every day and the numbers are increasing? You have not asked yourself, each Ramadan you are feeding the poor, and you have not asked yourself, you have not taken any statistics whether the number of people coming to your mosque to feed during the Ramadan is increasing or reducing. You're only happy about the fact that you are feeding people in Ramadan. Have you ever thought of sitting down and take a register of the number of people you are feeding? The people you fed last year, 1443, and then the people you fed 1442. Is the number increasing or decreasing? If the number is increasing, you have failed. That is not the problem to your that is no solution to the problem of poor people in society. If the number of the people you are feeding is increasing, it means you don't understand the problem of your society. Are we thinking like this? Are we bringing things out like this? But each Ramadan we are happy, and that is the same way. We are happy, proliferation of rehabilitation centers, and then you rehabilitate 10 people, 50 people are going in. 50 people come out, 100 people look out. The number is increasing. You have not sat down to say that this is not the solution. We are given to material things, to things that are just short time. And then we are happy about short-term solutions, right? We just feel cool about these short-term solutions. But the deep problem, the deeper we look, the more we realize that we have not solved the problems we think we are solving. For how many years have you been giving Al-Majri money? Each time you go to filling station, they are in their numbers. And then each time you are encouraging people, give them. Is that the solution? Provide avenues for people to be motivated to stand on their own. When you have 1 billion naira and you want to do a project, a physical project that will not be empowering to people, for example, you want to build a mosque, and then there is already a mosque existing, and you have 100 million or 200 million or 500 million naira to build a new mosque. If really you want to solve the problem of the Muslims, take that 500 million naira, open a system wherein you come with experts, open the door, less privileged people in the society, engage them to come up with ideas of what they want to do to be self-sufficient, to be independent of need. Gild them. There are people of category of 5 million naira. 500 million naira, how many people? There are people with category of 250,000 naira. People with this category, give them money. Take them there, they add value to the society. You build mosque of 500 million naira, then you use the same pulpit to ask us to help the poor people. You are spending 1 billion naira to build a mosque, then you stand on the pulpit of the mosque to ask me to give you money to help the poor, when you can use that 1 billion naira to solve the problem of these poor people. Where did Allah say we should build mosque that elegant? No. We just need a place to pray in. This hall is enough for us to pray. It's misplacement of priority. And that is what we are saying. We feel cool about it. When you build a mosque of 100 million naira, 500 people will celebrate you. And then you invite people to come and open the mosque. And then you feel cool that you have done something for Allah. But have you done it for the society? Have you solved the problem of your society? Then you feel cool. I'm gonna masallachi 500 million naira, 1 billion naira. Babban masallachi, the best in town. The question is, have you solved the problem of the Muslims? You have built a mosque and then the Muslims are impoverished and then they come to the mosque and they steal people's shoe in the mosque. And then you catch them and you say you have caught a thief in the mosque. You have not solved his problem. The thief that cannot eat. You have money, you are building a mosque of 500 million naira, 100 million, 1 billion, and then someone comes to your mosque to steal, and then you are saying that he's a thief. Because he sees you as someone that does not care about his plight. And that is how you solve the problem. The Prophet ﷺ was not given to emotional response. The Prophet was calculative in the solutions. When the Prophet went to Medina, yes, the mosque was a gathering place. They need a mosque as a center. The first thing they did in Medina, there was no mosque, they built the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ. Was it elaborate mosque? Simple architecture. The mosque of the Prophet. What was the next thing the Prophet did? The mosque, the first free trade zone in the Arabian Peninsula, the market, the souk of Medina. They established that. People were able to come in free trade zone. The Sahaba now started thinking of where is the marketplace. Abdurrahman bin Auf asked, where is the marketplace? They started becoming entrepreneurs so that they will not come back and be begging in the mosque. So we are building mosques and people are coming to the mosque to beg, and we think building mosque is the solution to our problems. And then we will spend a lot of money in building mosques. Then we will come and stand on the pulpit of the mosque and ask people to donate money to orphans. How about? Where is our... Wallahi, we just want people to praise us. When you build it, people say you have done something great. Kongina, you feel happy, you feel cool. And someone is giving you the hadith where Ibn Bana Masjidan. We have mosques. Is mosque our priority? Is mosque our priority? When you spend that much and then nobody is taken out of poverty, you have not done anything. And your Muslims are becoming criminals day in, day out because they don't have any source of income. So they are given to criminal. This is it. Why should I organize a conference and spend 10 million, 20 million naira to bring a scholar to come and talk? Why? When I can use the money to sponsor to someone to go and memorize the Quran and Hadith, with 10 million naira I can get 5 people to memorize Sahih Bukhari, to memorize Quran, to memorize Sahih Muslim, and they will come back to your society and become scholars. As against spending that 10 million naira for someone to come and talk for 1 hour and go back to his country. Is it not knowledge? Groom people in your society to become that knowledgeable. And then they will teach for free. For free, they will teach Maghrib to Isha. They will teach in the morning for free. Use your money wisely. And that is the problem of our society. Fiqhul awlawiyat. Prioritizing the essentials we don't know. People have money, they don't know how to spend it to please Allah. So the rich people, you don't dictate to them, they say it's our money, so this is what we want to do. Wallahi, some have approached some. I've told some people, you don't need to spend this much in building a mosque. I've met people that are spending billions in mosques. Told them you don't need to spend this much in the mosque. I told them we have so many mosques around. You don't need, it's not a priority. Use this money for social intervention. Use this money for social intervention for the Muslim and see how you're going to change the lives of Muslims in our societies. But we are happy if people beg us and we give them money and we go back and say today we have donated fi sabilillah. That's all about it. How can you ask me? I bet you I'll not go to any mosque that people use hundreds of millions to build. And then they're asking me to donate money to help the poor. Wallahi, I'll not give money in that mosque. I'll go and look for a poor person and give money. Because I'll tell you, you spend this much and you're coming back to me. It's like you have spent a lot of money to buy an expensive car. Then you come back to me and you're begging for me to give you money to buy fuel.
Build a begging center.
A begging center, that is what you have built. So we need to echo this sentiment. We need to understand the priorities. Wallahi musinici ba wasan yara ba abun burge mutane bane ba magana wai elitism bane. Islam is not about elitism, building edifices. The Prophet warned against it. The hadith of Anas bin Malik or another person. Qiyamah will not stand until people start competing in building mosques, and they will beautify mosques as the Christians beautify their worship centers. And that is why we are here today. We are not even afraid that we are falling into the statistics of the negative sentiment of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this is the society we live in today. We don't want to solve our problems. Wallahi, we are deliberate in nurturing our problems. We are deliberate in nurturing our problems. When some elderly people say, please, we want to do some Al-Majri intervention this time, they call me, I refuse to be part of it. They are elderly people, billionaires. The question I ask, your driver is still suffering from poverty. What have you done to solve this problem? Wallahi lazim. You have someone on your street that has a small shop. For 10 years, he has been selling small provision. You have never thought of giving him additional money to become on this time. And then you are coming to me. I said, it's just about media. So that media will say you have organized, you have a movement to solve Al-Majri problem. Are you truly? Wallahi lazim. I'm a pragmatic human being. I don't believe in all these fake things. I'm a pragmatic human being. Islam has taught us to use our intellect. You sit down, analyze, you have money, and then you are misplacing your priority. And then you are squandering money for nothing's sake. Ya Ummatan Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So please, solutions are not just in flamboyant abubuwa. Solutions might be in things that are not even physical, like we have told you. Your solutions might be watching your children. What are they doing? Become friends with your children. Be a role model to your children. That is a solution bigger than you building a rehabilitation center. You have rehabilitated the person right from onset. Al-wiqayatu khayru min al-ilaj. Prevention is better than cure. Prevent it from occurring, not while it has occurred, and we start proliferation of centers that will only add to our problems. May Allah make it easy for us. Every addiction starts from something small.
We think the magic is done in the rehab. After treatment, boom, then everything is over. No. Because addiction is a wide topic. It's better we pick the one that the organizers of the program have in mind than to just gloss over everything. Addiction to video game is now a medical condition. Addiction to screen, pornographic addiction, addiction to anything at all. There are many forms of addiction. And like now, video game is now can now be medically diagnosed as part of the spectrum of addiction. But of course, knowing the intent of the program, so I just narrowed down to substance abuse. Thank you very much. Then of course, self-medications. Of course, there are drugs, there are prescription drugs that are necessary for the treatment of one ailment or the other. Number one, the first thing the doctor does is to blindly prescribe some of these medications. There's what we call blind prescription, that the client or the patient will not be able to interpret, one, and then will not be able to get access to this drug except with doctor's prescription. So it's not a failure of medical practice, it's actually a failure of the society, whereby somebody can walk into a pharmaceutical shop and have access to pentazocine, or have access to diazepam, or have access to many other substances that can be used, that will have been used to treat other medical conditions. Of course, in a society like ours, antibiotics should not be sold except with a duly signed medical prescription. But everybody goes around, buys anything you want to buy, and then nothing happens. So the fact that people get addicted to a particular medication because they wrongly use it does not make the drug to be less potent or to be hazardous. If those medications are used the way they were prescribed, there won't be anything called addiction in the first place. People have gone for surgeries and they've used pentazocine for their treatment as part of the pain management, and they never knew what the doctors gave them. They never knew what it was. They just saw that they got better and got well, and they moved on with their lives. But that does not make pentazocine to be less effective or to be a dangerous drug, in quotes, at the end of the day. So it's failure of the society to actually regulate some of these drugs, because there are lots of medications and drugs that can be abused. Even your antibiotics can be abused. I said it is a chronic relapsing disorder of the brain. It's a lifelong battle. Because for the brain to look like what it was before it saw cocaine, for instance, it needs abstinence for at least 10 years. Which is, it is possible but very difficult. For the brain to start looking the way it was before it saw the first shot of cocaine. So it's a lifelong battle. You know, I said it. Treatment is for life. That's one thing we still don't understand in Africa. We think the magic is done in the rehab. After treatment, boom, then everything is over. No. In fact, after the inpatient care, that's when the therapy begins. To the point that this person now acquires those psychological skills and develop a pattern that works for him, and now he now becomes his own therapist by himself over the years. That's 5 years after inpatient treatment, he's still in treatment. And that's when this person can overcome. Of course, we know that relapse is also part of it did not promise to be smooth. There is a bumpy ride. But of course, when there's a relapse, it can come back again to life. It's a difficult one. It's like somebody having high blood pressure and you are taking your medications, and even with the medication, the BP went up. That one doesn't mean that you have failed. It's a chronic disease. Then you go back to your physicians, they regulate your medications again, control it again, and then you continue. So you shouldn't give up. It's a lifelong battle that people have won, and you can also still win. People are winning the battle every day. Yes, and it's not just mention something that the family should not give up on them. Because the family becomes discouraged after treatment. Say, we have done this for you, we have taken you to this place, and you are still doing this thing, so we will leave you. No. The family support system should be intact. The family should support more, knowing fully well that this is no longer this person. There's a disease that has set in, and that disease is what we must treat. Whether it's addiction, straightforward addiction, or addiction with other mental illnesses. And we must all wake up to that reality that this treatment has to continue for the lifetime of this person. Thank you.
Every addiction starts from something small.
We think the magic is done in the rehab. After treatment, boom, then everything is over. No.
And stuff like that. Yes, let's take it from dating. Dating can only come in after the parents are now involved. Not just anybody in the street. I hope you understand. It is after the two of you have seen each other, you have committed to one another, and then the parents are involved, then you'll be allowed to do courtship. It is within courtship that dating comes in. I hope you understand what I mean. Dating is not before courtship. Courtship is, dating is part of courtship, and courtship only starts after a particular young man has seen a lady, okay, this and this, we want to marry, not just to be my friend, I'll be your friend. Then the parents are involved and they have permitted them to be seeing each other. And that is why you see Islamically, it's not that you'll be hanging around the street, you'll be roaming about the place, going to hide here and there. If you want to see the lady that you want to marry, you are free to go to her house after her parents have already sanctioned your relationship. The reason for this is so that there will be no heartbreak. Somebody that your parents know that they will not want to marry, don't allow you to marry, you will not even need to go far before you be like, okay, so alhamdulillah, our parents are not in support and let it just stay like that. It is better that way than when the two of you have already promised heaven and heart for each other, and then only for things to backfire eventually. I hope you understand. So dating comes in when courtship starts. Courtship is when the parents are already consented and both of you are ready for marriage. It is then you can visit her and she can visit you with a chaperone. That's what we say, there will be a third person that will be there. You can discuss in privacy but not privately. So you can discuss that's what I mean by in privacy. That means you and I want to talk and we don't want people to hear what we are saying. Yes, you can discuss like that. You and I want to chat and we don't want people to see what we are chatting. Yes, you can do that. But not when both of you are in the room alone. That is where somebody needs to be there, or it has to be in a way that your parents have approved, or they don't say. In fact, when you're a man you want to marry, look at it this way. This is where I want you to honor yourself. Any man that is worthy of marrying you should not be afraid of coming to your house and presenting himself to your parents. He has to have that confidence, he has to have that rest of mind, and he has to have that commitment to say, I'm not just coming here to waste my time. I'm coming here to see so person. I hope you understand. And your parents, as a lady, they already know him and they are already approved for him. So if both of you and this guy now wants to go out, you are free to take permission from your parents to say, so Abdullah is coming tomorrow and he wants us to go to an eatery together. And your parents say, no problem, because they already know both of you. Nobody will see the two of you in the eatery and say, my mama's hand up, come and see we saw your daughter with one man. You understand what I mean by that? You get the gist. So it's supposed to be a thing of honor. There should be no hide and seek when it comes to matters of marriage. Unless you are not ready. But if you are ready for marriage, nobody will say, why is somebody taking you out on a date? I hope you understand. And you see sometimes it makes the gentleman to also be more serious and more committed. He knows that yes, he has presented himself to your family, and your family have already accepted him if he's going to behave himself. If anything happens and the marriage is not supposed to go on again, then it is a mutually understandable thing between you and that person and your families. And nothing spoils, it's not a big deal. If they say, okay, sorry, this cannot go on again, and if tomorrow you bring another man to show them, they will not say, why are you carrying men up and down? They know that, okay, there was a reason why that one didn't work. And if there's any way they need to support you on this one, they will support you, including counseling, including advice, and some of the things that may be difficult for you. When these parents are involved, maybe your uncle, your aunt, or people that you trust, when they're involved, it makes everybody involved to be serious about the matter. With regards to matchmaking, well, I wish sometimes we have marriage supermarket. If we had marriage supermarket in Islam, there will be no problem. You can just be like, okay, yes, okay, now I'm ready to marry. Ustaz, okay, let's go to the marriage supermarket together. Help me to look at the one that I should go. I like that one. It's very tall but very poor. Okay, that one's also nice too. He's very rich but he didn't go to school. This one, I like this one. He's very nice but he doesn't dress well. Okay, this one, okay, I can manage this one, but from the way I'm looking at him, he would like women too much. Okay, maybe I would prefer this one. Then you begin, if we had marriage supermarket, you could easily go and choose what you want, but we don't have something like that. And I believe strongly there's no hide and seek in this matter if you are ready for marriage. There are so many apps, there are so many organizations, especially trusted Islamic organizations, who know the boundaries of Sharia, who knows the limits of what should be permitted, and who can, assist you. In this modern day where things are more complicated, there are some of these organizations who can say, okay, we know your background, we know his background, and we believe that both of you will make good couple. They will know many things about both of you, including your genotypes, right? Including some of the things you like, some of the things you don't like, and that's why you have to know yourself well, so that you know what you are looking for. So some of these matchmakers, they do very nice job. I don't want you to commonize them, and I don't want you to make it to be too frivolous. Don't make it to be such a playful thing. There are some websites, there are some Facebook groups that say they are doing matchmaking. At the end of it all, some people are just there to be sampling ladies, and ladies are there to be checking guys out. No, I'm not talking about playful things like that. I'm talking about very, very serious and committed organizations who will keep your data secret, and they will maintain your honor and dignity. Not that they'll be selling you to brothers here and there and say, check her out, to no pimples, 2 dimples. This lady, that one. Not the one that will turn into a playful thing. I hope you understand. So in my own opinion, the matchmaking organizations are okay if you see that they abide by the limits of the Sharia. Not to allow a lady to remove her hijab, or they carry your picture, they'll be showing everybody up and down. That doesn't look nice. People who are viewing us online has also asked us to emphasize the place of, when we're talking about dating, double dating. Seeing 2 people at the same time, 2 or more at the same time, wanting to say, okay, whether I will choose this one, whether I will choose that one. You see, when we talk about commitment, when we talk about marriage, it's a very serious matter. I don't want people to just take it like, okay, we're just friends. When you are ready to marry, you should take it to be very serious. Some people have problem of being indecisive. They don't know which one to choose. A guy came, you liked him. Another guy came, you liked him. Another one came, you also liked him. And then you like 3 brothers at the same time. You put yourself into confusion. You don't know which one to choose. And you know very well that men are never perfect. What this one lacks, this one has. What this one has, this one lacks. And you cannot marry all the three men together and say, okay, this one will complement this one. It's not acceptable that way. So it leads people into trouble, it makes them to get into issues. And that's why we kept advising that when it comes to istikhara, your istikhara is not only when you have found somebody you want to marry. I want you to make dua to be very serious and part of your istikhara. When somebody has come to you, please, when it comes to commitment, you don't do two people at the same time. Ensure that you are able to, get each of them to logical conclusion so that you don't complicate issues for yourself. And that's why I said family involvement is very essential. Even if you don't know his family or you don't know her family, at least maybe the imam of your area or the leaders of your organization, you can let them be in the know so that they can know if they need to investigate, if they need to ask some questions, if they need to intervene, if they need to do some things. Marriages are not supposed to be solo. There should be a third party that is trusted, that can ask some of the questions that you cannot ask. I hope you understand what I mean. Somebody who can ask on your behalf. As a lady, you may be too shy to ask some guy some questions. Maybe the guy is much older than you, or you respect him a lot, and anything he says, you will say, you will just be smiling and be saying, Inshallah. Instead of you to ask him some very serious questions about life, serious questions about his commitment, about his readiness. Some guys don't do much talk. He cannot express himself to tell you all the truth about his life. And so you just be there living on false hope that, okay, maybe he will change, maybe he will do this. No, involve people that can talk to him and ask him questions. And that's why premarital counseling is very essential. It is in premarital that you get to know which is which. Because the marriage counselor, the Muslim marriage counselor, will ask some questions that you never even expected will be an issue. There and then you get to see him frowning because there's something they will ask him if he should do for you, and he will say he doesn't know how to do it. Take for instance, a lady wants to marry. This lady happened to be a sickler. She has SS, and then luckily enough, alhamdulillah, the brother is AA. You know they can marry each other, right? But the counselor was asking him a lot of questions that the lady never thought she should ask. And the counselor asked him, have you seen a sickler in pain before? He said no. Do you know what it is when a lady is a sickler? He said no, that he only used to hear that they fall sick sometimes. Do you know what medicine she will need as first aid if her pain should start? He said he doesn't know. Do you know her doctor? The doctor that attends to her whenever she has crisis? He said he doesn't know. So what now do you say you want to marry her for? You don't even know anything. You don't know Jack. And up to the extent that the counselor asked, do you know how to administer, if you were to go and be trained on how to give injection and first aid now, are you interested? He said, I'm not in medical line now. So you see, he doesn't even have any idea of what it is when somebody is a sickler. So those are some of the questions that a counselor will ask, and they will ensure that everything is put in order. I hope you understand what I mean. So follow one matter to a logical conclusion. If you are not with that person again, please don't mix things up and don't mess things up. Let the person know that there's no relationship between us. And what causes double dating sometimes is that you and a person, you are seeing each other, you are talking, you are discussing, and this guy never for once told you that he wants to marry you. For once, he never said it. He just said, I love you. Is I love you the same thing as I want to marry you? Anybody can love anybody now. And it happened to a lady that they were going Shiga Fita like that for 5 years. Only for this guy to just come one day smiling with invitation cards in his hand and gave it to her and said, you are going to be a special guest. This is the person I want to marry. And the lady was what of me? What of, he said, I didn't tell you, we are friends now. We are friends now. I didn't tell you I want to marry you. We are just friends. Now you see where Wahala is now. Somebody has not told you he want to marry you. You have to define what exactly are you doing in my life. What do you want? You want to spoil my chances for others, or you just want to use me to massage your ego to say you have a girlfriend? Tomorrow now you go marry somebody else. I think this is Another reason why people go into double dating because they are not sure, they don't know whether this one will be serious or no. No, be serious. It's not so difficult to know somebody wants to marry you from somebody who is just wasting your time. Please don't let anybody waste your time. May Allah make it easy for us. I think that's what there was another version to the question. Okay, the courtship issue. I think I mentioned that one also, right? Yes, there should be courtship. It is when you are inside courtship that you actually do dating. I think I explained that to you earlier on. It is one thing for people to see each other, like each other, be interested in marrying each other, and then they move on to the family level of involving the third parties that can ensure that they do justice between them, including going to see a marriage counselor. I want you to please try. Don't be shy about this matter. If a guy approaches you even today, he talks to you today about marriage, the following day go see a marriage counselor, both of you. The marriage counselor can be like a third party, can understand this and that. There are some things they may see that you may not see. No matter how much you look, you may not see it. But they have an idea because they are used to, they are familiar with relationships, and they'll be able to tell both of you objectively that, look, okay, both of you only say you like each other, but when it comes to marriage, it's a no-go area. You are SS and he is AS. Forget about love. Just put this in aside. You are just Muslim brother and Muslim sister, but these are the implications if you must go ahead and say you want to marry each other. I hope you understand. May Allah forgive us. It's not difficult to know, just like what we have been saying now. You remember one of your mothers also just mentioned it now. Consultation is very important. Anybody can deceive anybody now. You heard of Yahoo before? Somebody can be very brilliant, yet Yahoo people will defraud the person. So no matter how brilliant you are as a lady, any guy can easily deceive you. He will just say the kind of things you like to hear. MashaAllah, Guy, you don't know it's a scam. So many guys, they have very sweet mouth. In fact, some of them are experts at it. They know what you want to hear. They know what you want to listen to. They know the kind of thing you love. And so they know how to just, string you along like that, string you along until when you start doing tahajjud and start thanking Allah that, Ya Allah, I never knew you could bring a Sahaba in this century. Whereas it can be a scam. People who want to deceive you, they will not tell you that, look, I'm here to deceive you. Some of them are double daters. Some of them are players. Some of them are nice guys. You know what I mean? Nice guys. He will be very generous. He will buy a recharge card for you. Without you asking, he will send data to your phone. He knows what to say to you before you. He will just, Allah Akbar, around 4 a.m., he will just call you and say, sorry, let me remind you of Tahajjud. That kind of thing. You remember tomorrow is Friday. Remember to read your Surah to Kaf. I will send you this app, Kaf app. Surah to Kaf app. Remember to fast. Tomorrow is Monday. Those things. He knows the thing that can really grip your attention like that. Anything you say, MashaAllah. You say, Subhanallah. You say, Alhamdulillah. La hawla la quwwata illa billah. You see, just marry him like this. Just marry him. Then you know that he has the DNA of Fir'aun inside him. You know the great-grandchildren of Abu Lahab. You know Abu Lahab. He may be a great-grandchild of Abu Lahab. He will show you pepper. You will regret yourself. What I mean is, not everybody deceives. But please, the Quran says, وَأَمُرُهُمْ شُورًا بَيْنَهُمْ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Let your matter be shura. That's consult those. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know if you don't know. Honestly, anybody that want to deceive and cheat you, one of the first things they will do is they will cut you off from other people that can advise you. They are very smart at that. Anybody that they know can advise, they will find a way of shielding you off from finding out the truth about them. So let it not be a solo endeavor. Marriage is not something you do all alone. There should be a person, or a mother, or an aunt, or an auntie, or even a brother, or an imam, or the amir that you trust that can help you look into this guy to know ascertain what the truth is. So in other words, one of the best ways you can know is for you to do shura, that is consult those who know if you don't know, so they can find out some things for you. Number two, if you are not ready or you are not convinced about somebody, don't go into what doesn't have an exit. Don't enter into a door, don't go into an entrance that doesn't have an exit. Does anybody understand what I mean? Don't go commit yourself, don't go swear an oath, don't go carry Quran on your head. I swear that I'm going to marry you. Don't go and use the blade to cut yourself and say, my blood has touched yours, we must marry. No, don't turn marriage into a cult. You understand? There's surah to talaq in the Quran, remember, even for those who are already married. So don't engage with a guy that you cannot back out if it's not going to work. I mean, don't allow anybody to rope you into something when you are not ready to actually do the marriage. I hope you understand. So in other words, find out a lot of things as much as you can and make dua so that Allah can protect you from those who can be very deceptive. A person can get it wrong, you can make mistake, you can misjudge somebody sometimes. Somebody may be honest, but because of you have not seen what you are looking for, you just throw the person away. And somebody may be deceptive, but because he shows you what you are looking for, then you think that's the best. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Allah knows, but we do not know. But do your best in doing the investigation that you can. But like I said, don't go it all alone. I hope you understand. There are some things other people can see that you cannot see. Then فَإِذَا عَزَمْتُمْ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. When you have now resolved to say, well, this is all I've found out, then you put your trust in Allah, because only Allah knows what is unseen. May Allah forgive us and make it easy for us. Once you are beginning to see the red flag, you are just marrying each other, you have not married, it's already talking about sleeping with you, you know that means you can't be patient in some certain extent. That's another way of knowing these things. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam.